Give me a second on order. I'm going to fire.
Dispatch, Motor 1. 1 is on. Be advised, the resident stated that the downstairs of her house is on fire at this time.
We've got smoke going, multiple dwelling. You're going to go directly to the scene. They got possibly 2 people trapped in the structure. Would you up on the roof? Take that front window out and then make that roof. Give me a second on order. I'm going to work the fire.
The Ocean City-Wright Fire Department is a progressive, modern-day emergency response team. We protect an area of over 11 square miles with 3 fire stations. Our district includes parts of Eglin Parkway and Beale Parkway, Racetrack Road, Shalimar, Cinco Bayou, and Sylvania Heights.
The department was formed in 1962. It was strictly a volunteer department, and it had 1 truck at that time, which was called a tanker truck, stationed at the corner of Racetrack and Eglin Parkway at the time, at Vern's Shell gas station, and it was parked under a lean-to.
In the mid-1960s, the Ocean City-Wright Fire Department built their first station on Racetrack Road. This station was entirely volunteer until around 1975, when our first paid firefighters were hired.
In 1975, it went from just having a paid chief to actually having paid staff, which was 5 people.
I believe it was around 86 we built Station 3, put on some more men. Now we're up to 13 personnel per shift, 3 stations.
We've grown from 5 people, 3 at this station, 2 in Shalimar, to 7 here, 3 in Shalimar and 3 at Station 3.
Over the years, our district and emergency response load has increased tremendously. Faced with this growth, the Ocean City-Wright Fire Department has to grow in not only size, but services we offer as well.
We're going to have to consider advanced life support capabilities. Being that 70% of our calls are medical-oriented, we're going to need to become paramedics.
It better serve the taxpayers with the response times of ambulances being an unknown versus fire departments. There's a lot more fire departments. We could get there on scene a little bit quicker the majority of the time.
A paramedic program would allow the Ocean City-Wright to provide ALS services, or advanced life support. This would allow our members to become trained to provide emergency drugs and procedures far superior to our current capabilities. As our emergency response capabilities must grow, so must our emergency response coverage.
As our area of coverage, with the population and growth, it's got to the point that 3 stations can't cover it anymore. So it's really driving us to have another station to reduce our response times to certain areas and provide the additional coverage that we have to have because we get so busy now.
With the support of our citizens, these plans for greater service will become a reality. The Fire Inspections and Prevention Division is invaluable to the Ocean City-Wright Fire Department.
We have 3 inspectors in this department. I have two inspectors that work for me that do an outstanding job, and they are very excellent at dealing with people out there, dealing with the public. Public sees us usually a lot more than they see the firefighter.
I think it's very important because, you know, it starts here with trying to prevent the fires.
We in fire inspections have 3 primary areas that we cover. Number 1, we inspect commercial businesses to make sure that they are fire safe. Along with that, we review plans for new construction.
It is up to these personnel to ensure that every aspect of construction is up to code, from sprinkler systems to fire alarms. These members participate in all phases of construction and frequently visit sites in an effort to maintain the highest levels of fire safety.
And then the third thing we do is we do training and education out in the public.
By recruiting the firefighters to help, countless children are educated about fire safety every year.
We work right along with our fire prevention office. We go to a lot of schools, daycares.
The biggest thing is safety for the kids. Let them get used to seeing the fire truck so they're not in just so total amazement. If they see one in their neighborhood, they're going to try to run up to it. And the other part is actually teaching them fire safety also.
The more fires you can prevent, not only are you saving lives, but the community is saving an awful lot of money. Whenever we get a chance to talk to the public about fire prevention, we'll gladly do that.
Several classes and programs are offered by the department to help promote fire safety and emergency response education. CPR classes are frequently held at our headquarters, Station 1. For education and training related to basic disaster response, the Ocean City-Wright participates in teaching classes for Community Emergency Response Teams, or CERT for short. This 8-week class is taught 1 night a week and gives the citizens who attend the basic skills to help themselves following disasters, particularly after hurricanes.
Depending on the size of the devastation or the size of the incident, for an emergency responder to get there, it could be just a matter of a few minutes up to 24, 36 hours. Just depends on how bad the incident is.
Students are taught how to use fire extinguishers, perform basic search and rescue, and secure utilities such as natural gas and electricity during emergencies. Classes and education are not the only public programs we are involved in. Our trucks all carry smoke detectors that we install at homes within our district. We even have members certified in child safety seat installations. The members of the Ocean City-Wright Fire Department utilize every opportunity to become involved with the public we protect. Our department attends countless of community events, from children's birthday parties to public safety functions. Our department honor guard has presented the flag for Little League opening ceremonies, and our members also participate in fundraisers for various groups, including the Muscular Dystrophy Association. We even have members that come in off duty to drive Santa Claus through our neighborhoods during the holiday season. It is important for our community to get to know us and understand that we are always here to help in any way that we can. Being a firefighter is an extremely rewarding career, but the job does carry with it a tremendous amount of physical and mental demands.
Probably the really hardest thing is some of the calls you go on, the situations you're faced with.
And it's not for the weak at heart. You know, there's some very gruesome things that we see that would break the normal person down on their knees crying. But it's, you know, that's not an option for us at the time because we're there to help.
It's kind of tough on you. You try to put it to the side and try to be tough, you know, and say, I can handle this, but in the back of your mind, you think about it.
Being a firefighter requires a tremendous commitment of your time. We are on duty for 24 hours, which means we are away from our family 1/3 of our time.
You know, a third of your life, you're gone. You have to look at it that way. A third of your life, you're not going to be with your family, period.
Now that I'm a new father, it is hard to be away from your family, especially on the holidays.
Being away from my family, my son, He's not old enough yet to understand that why Dad's not there.
Even after working a full 24 hours on shift, most firefighters leave the station in the morning to report to a second job.
And that's another rough thing. You're up all night, you know, running calls, and you get off work, then you got to go right back to your other job for another 8, 10 hours, whatever the case may be.
We just do this basically to make ends meet, not so much to live an elaborate lifestyle. It's just, you know, you don't do this job for money. You do it because you love it.
Each and every one of us are proud of the job we do. The commitment to being a firefighter becomes a driving factor in our lives. Despite the mental and physical demands, each one of us has our own reasons for why we love being firefighters.
Every day is different. You go to the same call, you may go to a diabetic call 3 times that day, but each one's different.
Just being here, just doing things that most people think about, dreaming about doing.
It's the satisfaction of helping somebody and the outcome being favorable. It's the best feeling.
Due to the fact what you may have done made a difference between that person living and dying is a big factor with me.
A firefighter is on duty for 24 hours straight. This means that every third day, we live at the firehouse. Your coworkers become your second family.
It is a brotherhood, it's a family.
You know, you come in here, it's like your own family. You know, you cook together, you run calls together, you sleep here. Holidays are going on. You know, we're all here together while our family's elsewhere.
We would do anything for each other, on or off the job. And that's an important feeling to have.
Firefighters at Ocean City-Wright begin their shift at 7 a.m. Most arrive anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes early to get a chance to talk with the crew coming off duty. Critical information is exchanged in what is known as a pass-on. This information may include vehicle and equipment issues, fire hydrant maintenance, or road closures. After pass-on is finished, the driver of each truck begins inspecting their assigned vehicle and ensuring all equipment is on board and operating properly. As some members are inspecting the apparatus, others are cleaning the firehouse.
First thing in the morning, you usually come in, you check out your trucks, do your station duties, you know, vacuuming, sweeping, mopping, normal household duties, because we consider this our home 1 out of 3 days.
Upon completion of morning details, we begin our list of monthly assignments. The days of playing cards and checkers all day have long passed.
When people say firefighters sit around and watch TV or play cards all day, I'll normally respond that, you know, they ought to come up and just spend some time with us.
I honestly say, in my 12 years, I've never played cards at the fire station, and I've never played checkers. I don't even know if there's a deck of cards in the fire station.
The firefighters at the Ocean City-Wright Fire Department spend their days working. Each month, we have a list of assignments that must be completed.
We have a certain amount of assigned tasks during the month. We've got a number of pre-plans that we have to do. We have an assigned amount of minimum training.
We usually have either training, or we have maintenance to do, or we have pre-fire plans to do, or we have fire prevention walkthroughs. So it changes daily.
On top of all of these tasks, the firefighters of Ocean City-Wright also perform countless hours of training, and more training.
Each member of the Ocean City-Wright Fire Department is required to have a minimum of 240 hours of training each year.
We train a few hours every shift. And there's various subjects they have to go through, and we have a planned schedule for the year that they cover certain material every month, and they have to have 20 hours of that training every month.
We typically do some kind of training every shift.
Beyond the training we receive while on duty, our members also attend college classes on their days off, and many have fire service college degrees.
Firefighters at Ocean City-Wright Fire Department are required to get advanced training just to get promoted.
A chief officer or an officer can no longer be somebody who just has a high school diploma.
So generally, if you become a firefighter, you will be trained and keep training for the rest of your career.
If you ever stop going to school and you ever quit trying to learn, you find yourself far behind. It has a very real possibility of getting your people or your community hurt.
The Ocean City-Wright Fire Department also has a large number of members that participate in special technical rescue and emergency response teams. These special teams require additional education and training far beyond that of an entry-level firefighter. At the end of the night, if we've been fortunate enough to complete all of our duties, then hopefully we'll have a few minutes to sit down and relax.
I mean, granted, we do have slack time. We need some slack time. And the reason is you don't want us working out there 8 hours as hard as we can and then on the 9th hour catch a big structure call and us be too tired to go in and do what we're actually here to do. I mean, it would hurt me to know that I was too tired to go that extra 10 feet to find that person, you know, and I would just give out. So, you know, it balances itself. We do have slack time. I mean, there's no sense in saying we don't. But the time that we're working, we're actually working.
At any time during our public education, safety programs, hydrant inspections, pre-fire planning, equipment maintenance, and training, we may be called upon to handle an emergency. These calls can come in at any time. We're training or sitting down for dinner. We drop everything and jump on the truck.
Once your station tones are activated, a klaxon horn activates so the lights go on.
Tones go off, we stop what we're doing, we drop it. I don't care what it is, we drop what we're doing.
Don't know when they're going to go off, don't know when it's going to happen, what's going to happen.
I may have to go. And I do have to go.
These calls are not only unpredictable in timing, but in nature as well. Many people don't realize that the fire department responds to much more than just fires.
You name it. If somebody doesn't know what to do, they always call the fire department.
Any kind of medical ailment, injury, sore you can think of, we'll go on all those calls. We cover everything.
We've done everything from rescuing cats out of a tree to pulling puppies out of a manhole, drainage, to taking care of dolphins that speech themselves.
Heart attack, strokes, a cut finger, I scraped my knee, vehicle extrication, vehicle accidents, hazardous materials calls. Pretty much any time 911 is dialed, you're going to get a fire department.
When people have nobody else to call or don't know how to solve a situation, we get the call.
The Ocean City-Wright Fire Department responds to almost any type of call you can think of, ranging from children locked in vehicles to illegal burning of yard debris, down power lines, or emergencies like gas leaks, rescues, boat accidents, car crashes, flooding, chemical spills, aircraft crashes, and disasters like tornadoes, hurricanes, or terrorist events. We are also called for all medical emergencies. Anything from cardiac arrests to allergic reactions, diabetic difficulties, childbirths, shootings, drownings, and a host of other incidents. It is for these reasons that the Ocean City-Wright Fire Department is planning to provide advanced life support services in our future. Responses to vehicle accidents also make up a large part of our call load. Some of these may be minor, low-speed collisions, while others can be major impacts. In some cases, the severity of these calls requires that we create a makeshift landing zone in the middle of the street or parking lot for medical transport helicopters. In 2004, the Ocean City-Wright Fire Department responded to 4,263 calls for service. As a fire department, we are, of course, most often associated with battling fires, ranging from vehicle fires to brush fires, and of course, structure fires. A building on fire is an extremely dynamic and fluid event. A structure fire is the proving grounds where the value of constantly training pays off. In a shift at the firehouse, you can be eating lunch one moment and crawling through a burning building the next. When the tones go off, each member of the crew drops what they're doing and rushes out to the truck to put their gear on and respond to the emergency. While en route to a structure fire, every member of the crew mentally prepares themselves for the challenges that lie ahead.
I would just close my eyes, try to focus on what my job is going to be, what tasks I may encounter once we get there, and just try to relax and prepare myself for what we're about to face.
Upon arrival at a working structure fire, there are countless decisions that must be made in seconds.
We are expected to make decisions based on our evaluation of what we see when we arrive on the fire ground. Often these decisions have to be changed because the information we were given, the conditions have changed or may not have actually been as was described to us by our dispatch center. So often our decisions are made in split seconds.
The job of battling a fire requires that multiple tasks be performed at the same time by numerous crews in an environment that is constantly changing. Crews operating inside on direct fire attack faced some of the harshest conditions imaginable.
A lot of people don't realize how loud a fire is inside, and that's one of the things that surprised me. The burning wood, stuff breaking and crashing.
A lot of yelling back and forth with each other. Most fires you can't see 5 inches in front of your face.
Sometimes you'll have an enormous amount of heat that you can feel trying to burn you around your neck or your ears.
Your temperatures can be 1,300 to 2,000 degrees depending on what's burning. You've got smoke basically down to the floor, you're crawling.
The heat inside of a structure fire is often so intense that even in our protective gear, we are crawling face down on our stomachs, wishing we could get lower than the carpet. Our primary task is rescue and fire attack. Because of the smoke, firefighters must learn to rely on their senses other than sight. In some cases, the smoke may become so intense that even finding the fire can seem nearly impossible.
I can remember a fire we had we actually found the fire by crawling, and the hotter we got, the closer we were getting to the fire. So we just had to fight through the heat to crawl in and finally find the fire and put it out.
New technology helps us overcome some of these difficulties with tools like thermal imaging cameras. These cameras can see through the smoke and recognize shapes by their heat signals. While crews are crawling through the building, searching for the fire or victims, other members are crawling across the roof above the fire. These members are tasked with the assignment of ventilation. This task is extremely dangerous since the crews are often crawling over a roof that is already soft or spongy from the fire burning intensely directly underneath.
You have to look at the roof and determine the construction of it, if it's metal or wood or shingle, you know. You want to make sure you have the proper tools to do that job.
We're going to cut a hole directly above the fire so we can ventilate and get the smoke out so the guys inside can see better.
While ventilation is invaluable to fire operations, hundreds of firefighters have lost their lives when roofs suddenly gave way, dropping them directly into the fire burning below.
If you got one that's burning real hard, you know that if you don't get done pretty quick, it's going to come through there and get you regardless. So
it can be pretty scary, knowing that you're directly above the fire and the roof can fall at any time, and you could become trapped. But it's just something we have to put aside and do our job.
The scariest part of being on a fire scene is going on top of a roof that could or could not fall through.
Most firefighters die from roof collapse, whether they're underneath it or on it. You know, if it falls, you're down there on the fire.
So when one of ours dies, we all feel it. If it's close at hand, then we actually have people that attend the funerals and pay our respects to that fallen brother.
You have a tie to them just because of the brotherhood of firemen. And it really makes you feel for them and their family because you know what they went through. You know how their brothers may feel.
We've lost one of the family, and you know, in general. And you think about it, it could have been you. It could have been one of our brothers here.
Everyone who's a firefighter thinks about what if that was him and how his family would feel and having to leave his family. And, you know, we all think about how that firefighter's family feels, how much they're going to miss that person.
Despite the sacrifices and difficulties that are a part of being a firefighter, it is one of the most rewarding jobs. There is a satisfaction and fulfillment the words cannot express. Being a firefighter is the greatest job on earth.
We're there for it. We're there when people's mistakes happen.
It's not a profession where you're going to get rich, but the rewards of helping others is a good thing.
When somebody comes to you and says, hey, you saved my life, thank you.
You know that you're doing something that your family's proud of you for.
I do like being a firefighter because it's a good job. In fact, it's a great job. I don't think there's many jobs better than this.
You know, our doors are always open.
Oh, man, anytime you want to stop by, just swing by the station, guys. Be more than happy to show you around.
This is y'all's department. Feel free to stop in and see us, talk to us.
We are always willing, and we are always ready. We are the Ocean City-Wright Fire Control District, your fire department.